Motocross is one of those sports where kids start young, grow fast, and if they've got the passion and discipline, they can go far, sometimes all the way to the pros. But every so often, something awful happens that reminds everyone just how risky this sport can be. That's exactly what happened on June 28, 2025, when 16-year-old motocross racer Aiden Zingg died during a race at the Mammoth Motocross event in California. Aiden wasn't just any teenager with a dirt bike. He was one of the top amateur riders in the country. He had the skills, the drive, the wins, and the backing of some of the biggest names in motocross. He was signed with Kawasaki's Team Green program, one of the most respected amateur development pipelines in the sport. That alone tells you what kind of talent he had. You don't just join Team Green, you earn it. Born in Hemet, California, Aiden started riding young, like most motocross kids do. He quickly rose through the local ranks, competing in everything from 65cc to super mini classes. By the time he hit his teenage years, he was a serious contender at the national level. He made it to Loretta Lynn's Amateur Nationals 7 years in a row. That's not normal. That's elite. In 2024, he had one of his biggest seasons ever. He won the AMA Amateur National title in the Super Mini 2 class and placed second in Super Mini 1. He was also starting to transition into the 250cc class, which is no joke. That's the class where things really ramp up in speed and competition. And at Mammoth Motocross this year, he was competing in the 250B class moto racing against some of the best up-and-comers in the country. That race, sadly, would be his last. According to multiple eyewitnesses and media reports, Aiden went down mid-race in a corner, something that happens all the time in motocross. But when Aiden was down, several riders behind him couldn't avoid him. They collided with him while he was on the ground. And that's when everything changed. The part that's hard to understand is what happened next. The race wasn't stopped immediately. It continued for 2 more laps with Aiden still lying on the track. Some riders didn't even realize what had happened. Others were unsure whether they should stop. The red flag, which signals an emergency and stops the race, didn't come until it was too late. When medical help finally arrived, Aiden had already sustained fatal injuries. He was pronounced dead at the scene, and the entire event shifted from a competition to a moment of mourning. Veteran racer and industry insider Chris Kiefer tweeted, "Heavy day at Mammoth Mountain MX. Please put your prayers and thoughts towards the Zingg family. Hug your loved ones and tell them you love them." Kawasaki's Team Green released a statement calling Aiden a standout athlete with character and humility. Humble, kind. He wasn't the kind of kid who let his success get to his head. He was focused, respectful, and always down to help others. One of the details people keep bringing up is Aiden's final Instagram post. It was a clip of him riding with the caption, "Remember the name." So what happened at Mammoth? Why wasn't the race stopped immediately after the crash? Why was there a 2-lap delay before officials finally stepped in? Racetrack safety is always a topic of debate in motocross. On paper, there are plenty of procedures in place. Spotters, flags, marshals, medics on standby. But when timing breaks down, even for a few moments, it can have catastrophic consequences. Some reports have suggested that riders themselves didn't realize how serious Aiden's crash was. That's fair. But race officials are there to make quick decisions, to flag danger, to call a race when something feels off. 2 laps might not sound like a long time to a casual viewer, but in motocross, that's a massive window. Enough time to make a difference. Aiden's legacy could be the thing that pushes those changes forward, and that might end up being the most important race he ever ran. He had big plans. He was aiming for a full pro career, and with the momentum he had, it wasn't a long shot. His name was already showing up in preseason rankings for 2026. He had the attention of factory teams. He was doing everything right, and that's the reality of motocross. It's exciting, but it's unforgiving. There's very little margin for error. Riders know the risks. They accept them. But that doesn't mean the people running these events should ever stop trying to reduce those risks as much as possible. It's hard to even put into words what that loss means. But what's clear is that Aiden made a lasting impact in a short amount of time. His story isn't just one of talent. It's one of kindness, humility, and quiet determination. So yeah, we'll remember the name. If you followed Aiden's journey or just heard about him for the first time, consider supporting youth racing safety. Consider talking about ways we can improve the sport. And most importantly, keep showing up. For the riders, for the families, for the next kid who just wants to ride like Aiden did. He gave everything to the sport. The least we can do is make sure that sport continues to grow in a safer, more responsible direction. Rest easy, Aiden Zingg. You are the kind of rider this sport needs more of, and your legacy is going to live on, both on and off the track.